Everybody knows how noisy it can be in the Superdome. You've got Will Lutz kicking off. He was the big hero on opening night, a 58-yard walk-off field goal. And back to receive, Tony Pollard, the rookie out of Memphis, who backs up Zeke Elliott. New Orleans won the toss. They have deferred. Final game on this fourth Sunday of the NFL season, and off we go from New Orleans. And we'll start with a touchback. Let's meet the Dallas offense.
Dak Prescott, Hail State.
Ezekiel Elliott, the Ohio State.
Amari Cooper, Alabama.
Randall Cobb, University of Kentucky.
Devin Smith, the Ohio State.
Jason Witten, Tennessee.
Tyron Smith, USC.
Connor Williams, Texas. Travis Frederick, Wisconsin.
Zach Martin, Notre Dame.
Lael Collins, LSU.
Great offensive line. Collins really having a terrific season at right tackle. First scrimmage play, short drop by Prescott, gets it away quickly, and the pass is caught up at the 30-yard line by Amari Cooper. Came over last year in midseason from the Raiders. There he is, completing 3/4 of his passes. 9 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. He's only been sacked twice, quite in contrast to what was going on last season. Bring in a fullback, Olawale. Running back is the 2-time rushing champion, and Elliott picks up a first down. Cam Jordan, no stranger to the Pro Bowl, he makes the tackle.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference for me in watching the Dallas Cowboys play this season has been a couple of things. One, this offensive line is back and healthy. You hit on Lael Collins up front. What a major difference. Travis Frederick back. And B, just the confidence of Dak Prescott. He looks like he really believes in himself in a way that we haven't seen.
They spread it out, but they have 3 tight ends in the game and split Elliott to the left, and they throw over the middle to Jason Witten. Spent last year, of course, in the Monday Night Football booth. Looked like he was going to retire. Just missed the game too much. Came back, and here he is in season number 16.
Yeah, and Jason Witten understands zone defenses as well as anybody. You get man-to-man, let's go to Amari Cooper. You get a zone, let's find Jason Witten. He's like a quarterback on the field, understands where those holes are.
For years and years, he's been called a security blanket. Good way to describe what he has done for a lot of Cowboy quarterbacks for a decade and a half. And a great tackle is made there by Demario Davis on Ezekiel Elliott as we take a look at that New Orleans D.
Cam Jordan, Chandler High School.
Ibuka David Oyemata, University of Manitoba.
Malcolm Brown, Texas.
Marcus Davenport, UTSA.
AJ Klein, Iowa State.
Kiko Alonso, Oregon.
Demario Davis, Brandon High School.
Eli Apple, the Ohio State.
Von Bell, the Ohio State.
Marcus Williams, University of Utah.
Marshawn Lattimore, the Ohio State University.
Von Bell returned a fumble for a touchdown last week, and Prescott just avoids the sack and then throws it away. Heavy pressure put on that time by the Saints, and that creates a 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, sometimes you double team Cam Jordan out here on the outside. This time it's a tight end and the running back, fullback coming across the formation. But we have seen so much that Dak Prescott just stands back there. Tonight the challenge is going to be this Saints pass rush is better.
Look at how the Saints load that defensive line as the Cowboys get up to the line of scrimmage without a huddle. So they spread it out. 5 receivers. Play clock is at 1. And Prescott hanging in the pocket, fires, finds the open man, but well short of the first down. That's Elliott who makes the catch. So they stop him. P.J. Williams makes the tackle. It'll be 4th down, and the Cowboys send in the punt group.
One of the things that happens, Al, is sometimes audibles take too long. That time, Dak understood he had a problem with his protection, but by the time he got the audible to everybody in this crowd noise, the defense had already made their check, and they were out of it.
There's Harris, who got him off to a great start last week. Ran a punt back early in the game at Seattle for a touchdown. This time he calls for and makes the fair catch at the 13-yard line. 2 weeks ago against the Rams, Drew Brees banged that thumb off Aaron Donald's helmet, had surgery in LA, has rehabbed in Los Angeles, came back here yesterday and is on the sideline tonight. No question, as you see him keeping that thumb flex, they put a brace in it. He thinks he can be back sooner than later, maybe by week 8 or so. Right now we're in week 4. Bridgewater starts, sets up a little screen. Latavius Murray, the backup back to Kamara, makes the catch to the 21-yard line. So Teddy Bridgewater takes over as the starter for Drew Brees last week in Seattle. Got off to a bit of a slow start, but came on toward the end. But most of his passes, Chris, as we know, were very, very short passes.
Yeah, and they're going to have to work the ball down the field. You can't let this Dallas defense sort of shrink on you, because obviously the key component here, Alvin Kamara, running the football out of the backfield. So at some point they have to try and stretch the field.
Josh Hill was the man in motion, the fake to Kamara, and then that pass is knocked down. So Bridgewater throws, and busting in there is Robert Quinn, the longtime former Ram, traded from Miami this year, missed 2 games because of suspension, came back last week, made his Cowboy debut.
Yeah, naked bootleg, nobody blocking Robert Quinn. The hope is you get out around the edge there and be able to hit Jared Cook on that crossing route. But I tell you, Quinn has really made a difference on this team. He had to sit out the first 2 games suspended, but you saw the kind of speed component he brought to the other side of DeMarcus Lawrence in the pass rush, and that has Dallas fans really excited.
And Quinn is excited here because the flag comes in. Carl Cheffers is tonight's referee.
False start, number 78, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's on Eric McCoy. He's the rookie center. Max Unger retired. They picked up McCoy in the 2nd round of the draft out of Texas A&M San Antonio.
Yeah, had to trade up to get him too, and paid Nick Easton quite a bit of money. Thought he was going to be the guy, but McCoy came in here and beat him out.
He's from the Austin. The big one, 3rd down and 9. Bridgewater throws, and back shoulder perfectly thrown to Michael Thomas. Led the league in receptions last year, catches everything, contested or otherwise, and a 1st down there.
Anthony Brown on the coverage, and this was the thing that the Cowboys really beat up these Saints receivers when they played a season ago in that 13-10 game. And they knew in order to get the Cowboys off of them, they had to start hitting some of those kinds of plays. That back shoulder, very effective to one of the best contested catch guys in the league.
Kamara is the back. His first carry. 2 yards. 2nd down and 8. Let's take a look at that New Orleans offense.
Teddy Bridgewater, Miami Northwestern Senior High School.
Alvin Kamara, the University of Tennessee.
Michael Thomas, the Ohio State.
Ted Ginn Jr., the Ohio State.
Jared Cook, South Carolina.
Josh Hill, Idaho State.
Teron Armstead, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Andrews P., Stanford.
Eric McCoy, Texas A&M.
Larry Warford, University of Kentucky. Brian Ramczyk, Wisconsin.
2nd down and 8. Bridgewater in a scramble. Flag is thrown, however. And for the moment, a nice run into Dallas territory to the 46-yard line. But as Sean Payton waits for the call, it's going to go against the Saints. They're going to bring it back.
Holding, number 72, offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
There you go. You got Teron Armstead on the outside here working against Dorrance Armstrong, and the hook around the neck as they went. But regardless, still great to see Teddy Bridgewater with the confidence, that surgically repaired knee, to be able to take off. He said, once I did it once I made that one big move in a practice session, I knew I could always do it, and I haven't thought about it since. Took the knee brace off, and you've seen some of the stuff that's made him magical in the past.
2nd and 18, hangs in the pocket, fires over the middle, another short pass. That is caught by Michael Thomas, already 2 grabs tonight. And it's a gain of 5 yards to make it 3rd down and 13.
There's Jason Garrett. Sean on the other side. They know one of the great matchups in this game are the inside linebackers, Jalen Smith, Leighton Van Der Esch, trying to guard Alvin Kamara.
Six minutes into the game with no score. Four-man rush, look out. Bridgewater escapes. Bridgewater looks downfield, fires, juggled and intercepted. Deflected and a pick in front of the Cowboy bench. Off the hands of Ted Ginn Jr. and intercepted by the Cowboys on the turnover. Jimmy Awuzie with the pick. Dallas ball. Back into the dome we come after the interception, and they start this drive with an Elliott run. Good tough run across the 50-yard line to the 48, and back we go to the deflected pick.
Well, of course, you get the holding call early, so now you got to try and force it down the field. Ginn just can't hold on to it. And when you have Teddy Bridgewater in there, you want to build some confidence early, and that does not help.
Second and 4, crowd already in full throat. Elliott swinging to the outside, looks for room, and is about a yard or two shy of the first down. Demario Davis makes the stop. Well, Elliott held out. He wanted a big contract, and he got one. A big deal was made by Jerry Jones and the Cowboys just prior to the season, so he missed all of camp and preseason, was down in Cabo San Lucas in Mexico, a nice place to train. Shows up 4 days before the season and will be seeking his third rushing title in 4 seasons out of The Ohio State University. Third down and 2. Prescott checking, taking off. He can run and slides to a stop at the 39-yard line. They got a flag. He was going down very late. Von Bell came in at the end. Get the call from Cheffers here.
Unnecessary roughness, number 24. Defense, 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
You know, Chris, before we see the replay, it looked like Prescott was still wanting to go before he gave himself up, so Bell was almost in no man's land.
And tried to jump over the top. We'll start with Tyron Smith. Tremendous job on the outside against Marcus Davenport. Held on just long enough to get Dak out and running. You do see a little contact to the helmet right there. Always tough on defenders.
Elliott was blocking out in front, but that defense threading its way through. Stop him after a minimal gain. Cam Jordan in on the stop. It'll be second down as you look at Kellen Moore. Michelle talking about him at the beginning. Youngest coordinator in the NFL since Sean McVay back in 2014 with the Redskins, and how'd that turn out? Pinning around, and there's Dennis Allen on the other side, who was the head coach of the Oakland Raiders about a half-decade ago, and has been here now for a number of years under Sean Payton. Second and 9. Look out. Prescott gets hit as he throws, but gets it away, and that's Jason Witten making the catch for a first down at the 12-yard line. Cam Jordan planting Dak as he threw.
Cam Jordan, one of the biggest speed rushers in the game. Watch him loop around the inside and give Dak a huge shot, and then give Dak huge credit for getting that ball off and delivering a strike on the outside. Dak has had so much more time than this. He is having to adjust at this point.
Starts 4 for 5 for 33 yards. Now Elliott takes the ball to the 10-yard line. Onyemata in on the tackle there after a gain of 1, second down and 9.
Yeah, David Onyemata really has made a huge impression, and the interior of this Saints defense is so much better than they have been. Onyemata, Malcolm Brown over from the Patriots, and they get Sheldon Rankins back, who's an excellent pass rusher, much better inside than they've been.
Rankins coming back from an Achilles tear, incurred in the playoffs last season. His first action of 2019 tonight. Second down and 9. Prescott hangs in the pocket, fires high, incomplete. Devin Smith was the intended receiver. Marcus Williams back there. And with 5:20 to go in the scoreless opening quarter, it's 3rd down and 9.
Here's how you make your living right here if you're Kellen Moore. You've got to begin to make some of these plays on the road, try to take this crowd out of the game.
Ain't easy.
It ain't easy. And Amari Cooper is one of the best man coverage route runners there is, and he's got man right here.
5 receivers as they go empty on a 3rd down and 9. Prescott dancing, looking, spinning away, directing traffic, and fires incomplete. That was Randall Cobb, a longtime Green Bay Packer, in his first season as a Dallas Cowboy, and so the Cowboys bogged down, and in comes the field goal group.
Yeah, trying to redirect just a little bit and barely misses that one. That's one you think Dak would definitely like to have back. And they did go a little bracket on the outside with the safety sitting back there on Cooper anyway. So they are not going to let him beat them down here in the red zone.
28-yard field goal attempt for Brett Maher in his 2nd year at Nebraska. And he puts the first points of the night on the Superdome scoreboard. Dallas 3. New Orleans nothing. Deontay Harris, working at Assumption College, is back to receive the Maher kick, and he's going to take it out of the end zone. But not very far. Well, yep, still on his feet. Almost got taken down about the 15-yard line. Frazier makes the stop there.
We talked about some of these shorter throws that we've been seeing out of Bridgewater than we would say a Drew Brees, and it's such a big part of his game here. 10 yards or less, 43 of those passes, and you just see the numbers declining. 20 yards plus, only one of those. Longest completion, 14 yards. So the more that the Saints get themselves in trouble with holding calls, whatever, it is not the style that Bridgewater wants to play.
Begin this drive with Kamara for a gain of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8. You know, he did exactly, Bridgewater I'm talking about, what he had to do last week. I mean, they got the lead.
Correct.
They got a defensive touchdown. They got a punt return touchdown. And I'm not saying he was a game manager. I mean, he did enough, and away they came with a victory, which is very tough to do in the Northwest.
No question about it. Started the game with tears and finished the game with tears when he got the game ball.
Yeah, what a journey it's been back for him, and he can't escape there because that's Robert Quinn making his presence felt again, and a penalty. Penalty is upfield at the 36-yard line.
Personal foul, face mask, number 24, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So Awuzie, the corner who had the interception earlier, flagged here.
Well, let's take a look on the outside. It is a physical approach these Cowboys play, and they don't care. Little tug right there on the face mask. They do care about that. Didn't want to see that. Hard to tell whether or not he pulled him down or again was just stumbling.
It would have been 3rd and long instead of first down on the foul. The ball at the 43-yard line. Handed off inside. Huge hole and exploited by Kamara. Inside Dallas territory to the 42-yard line. He was shot out of a cannon on that one. Jones and Heath make the stop. Gain of 13.
Now the big guys up front. Let's start with Larry Warford here. Just this down block going to drive him right out of the hole, and the quick hitter back inside. Thought it might have been some kind of a trap, but just an inside zone play. And boy, I tell you, when Kamara gets a little space, look out. Remarkable balance out of him.
Now you got Taysom Hill in. He's going to take the direct snap. The man who can do just about everything, including this. Taysom Hill for a gain of about 18 yards. Drew Brees loves it. Hill is the guy came up last year out of Brigham Young, did a fantastic job. He can do everything. Run, pass, receive. special teams, you name it, he does it.
So they come with the same play, fake that, read the unblocked guy here. The minute Quinn comes down, here goes Taysom Hill, and nobody can catch him. 4.4 speed out of the quarterback position and 220 pounds to finish runs, just like he did against Xavier Woods.
That gets the crowd all jazzed up. Bridgewater back in. From the 26-yard line now. Kamara again. One thing about Hill, you probably see him a lot more than you did before Breeze got hurt. But there's no other quarterback on the roster right now. So there he is. He's the backup quarterback. He also plays special teams, so he has to be somewhat limited. They have to be conservative with him in case Bridgewater gets hurt.
He has so many different roles on this team. What do? But clearly, this offense, you have so much more to prepare for when you have to prepare for Taysom Hill, Teddy Bridgewater, and of course when Drew Brees is in there. All three different styles.
Little toss here to Deontay Harris, and the rookie picks up a first down. A lot of razzle-dazzle on this drive. Rookie 5'6" and 170 pounds. Gain of 10 and a first down at the 14-yard line.
Well, everybody understands the focus is on Kamara. So the minute he goes there, all eyeballs on the defense focus there. And then here comes the speedster around the corner. Sean Payton telling us yesterday that this is one of those guys that everybody on the bench, when they know he's returning a kick, we all get up.
Now Latavius Murray is the back. Flare him out, go the other way, and that's caught on the right side and slung down by Lee is Josh Hill. But that was legal, no flag. So Sean Lee, it'd be great if he could stay healthy all year long one of these years. Number 2 pick back in 2010. He's been great when he's been in there, but he's had injury after injury, and right now he's pretty much reduced to a spot role.
Yeah, and sometimes anymore those get called every once in a while, but not this time. But right now the Cowboys have something they have not had in a while, and that's they are 4 deep at linebacker, and they can all play.
Murray is the back. Give it to the former Raider and Viking. He gets the ball to the 9-yard line. You got another flag coming in now. Sean Payton was very happy to see Carl Cheffers as tonight's referee, pointing out to us that he was 11-1 when Cheffers has been the referee.
Illegal block in the back. Number 13, offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
But this one's on the Saints, on Michael Thomas.
Think he's still happy? It's not often you hear happy and referees in the same sentence coming out of Sean Payton's mouth. Let's take a look. Michael Thomas on the outside. He tried to get Sean Lee, had a little one in front and one in back, and they called it.
Yeah, the Zebras are not quite the toast of the town here, as you all know. 2nd and 17. Fake to Murray. Bridgewater steps up. Look out from behind. Here comes another flag. He's going to get taken down at the 29-yard line by Robert Quinn, pending the call.
Holding, number 67, offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
On the right guard, the former Detroit Lion, Larry Warford.
I got to tell you, though, Al, the more I watch Robert Quinn, the more I understand how he ended up with 19 sacks in 2013. I saw this on a play last week as well. His just consistent hustle has been amazing to watch so far in some of these games. He looked like he was all the way on the ground here with this rush. Somehow contorted his body and runs down Bridgewater.
You know, I thought they were going to decline the penalty. They had a choice there, 3rd, and they did. It's 3rd and 25. Makes more sense than making it 2nd down and 27. I mean, the play was beneficial to the Cowboys. Now the pass is caught near the sideline here by Jared Cook, and that's going to take us to the end of the quarter with the score: the Dallas Cowboys 3, the New Orleans Saints nothing. And Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. Back in New Orleans, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Sunday Night Football. Dallas on top 3-0, but New Orleans right now will try to tie the game as Will Lutz comes in to attempt a 40-yard field goal. A long of 58 came on opening night and ended the game with a big win over the Texans. And then Lutz bangs that one through. You have 4 ex-quarterbacks on the Cowboys staff. Jason Garrett, of course, the longtime backup to Troy Aikman, played on the Super Bowl teams back in the 90s. Talked about Kellen Moore currently. John Kitna, long career. Now the Cowboys quarterbacks coach. Doug Nussmeier, who's the tight ends coach, was also a quarterback. So, and the quarterback here for the Saints was Nussmeier many years ago. So a lot of advice can be given to one Dak Prescott, and so far so good as we start here with a touchback. You get 4 quarterbacks, including your head coach. So there's plenty of advice that comes into Dak Prescott's ears, and a lot of it has been, as I say, very beneficial so far.
It's not always a good idea to have too many quarterbacks in the same room. They can float a few egos around as well. But I think that the way that this staff is organized, they have very specific responsibilities as to how they're going to break that thing down. Because really, Kellen Moore, while he is the guy putting the offense together, it's John Kitna who is really coaching the quarterback room and the fundamentals of the position.
Yeah, Kitna was coaching high school the last few years, and Jason Garrett was trying to get him back for a number of seasons, and now they start this drive with a handoff to Elliott, who spins and is swallowed up after a gain of 3 or 4.
Yeah, this game is starting to shape up a little bit like the 13-10 slugfest from a season ago. It really was one of those games. It's hard to explain this rivalry. I think that a lot of Saints fans, when this team was really, really bad, cheered for the Cowboys, and now that they're sort of equal, it's created this great atmosphere.
Yeah, they don't play that much, but they've had some great games. Fake toss to the near side, catch made up at the 30-yard line. Hit it to Elliott and A.J. Klein, the former Carolina Panther, is there to stop him. So it'll be 3rd down and 5 for Dallas. Got Tavon Austin in the game, number 10. Got Randall Cobb in the game. Got Marcus Davenport up front, ready to tee off. Prescott fires, contested and incomplete. Trying to get it to Amari Cooper, who's been held in check tonight. And that's Marshawn Lattimore breaking it up. So it is a quick 3 and out.
It has not been a good year so far for Marshawn Lattimore, and yet they were telling me that the one thing about Lattimore is sometimes the better the matchup, the more excited he gets, and he doesn't get lazy. So some of his best games have come against the best receivers, and Amari Cooper certainly in that category here tonight. But Lattimore with a big first play.
Jonathan Harris back. Chris Jones high in the air and hold in at the 26-yard line. And Harris, who ran one back all the way at Seattle last week, takes this one back to the 50-yard line to set the Saints up with good field position.
Michelle Tafoya back in New Orleans. Drew Brees' surgery was to repair the ulnar collateral ligament at the base of the thumb, which stabilizes the thumb whenever you grab or grip an object. Anchors were drilled into the 2 bones of the thumb, and the torn ligament was stitched into place. Then a stabilizing tape, about 1 millimeter wide but extremely strong, was connected on top to strengthen the repaired ligament, allowing for a more aggressive and faster rehab, Al.
And there he is, Michelle. He's been flexing that thumb. I guess that's part of the rehab process. Either that or honing his hitchhiking skills.
Calling Dr. Tafoya.
Yes.
That was good.
She's great at this stuff. That's good. It's Taysom Hill in the game. He sets in the slot. Look out. Bridgewater hit from behind, but gets it away. Josh Hill, the tight end, down the sideline. He skirts for a big gain. Tackled by Jeff Heath. Gain of 20 yards.
So this is a team that loves screens, and so far they've thrown one here. Now they're going to throw one here. So basically what they're trying to do here is say, all right, you guys are focused on everything we've done in the past. Let's show you a couple of new looks here and get used to guarding other people other than Kamara and Michael Thomas.
Got tipped. And completely the ball at the 31-yard line. Stack a couple of receivers to the left and then give the ball up the middle to Kamara, who with a flag at the end of the play coming in to the 25-yard line. Chris Covington in on the stop. Saints already moving back, so you know who the call will be against.
Holding, number 78, offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's the rookie center. That's Eric McCoy. Back to Dr. Tafoya. Michelle.
Well, I caught up with Breeze before the game. He told me his rehab began almost immediately after the surgery. Mostly he's working on range of motion. He showed me how he's trying to get the repaired thumb to mirror things his healthy thumb can do, like reach certain creases on his palm. And one drill is for him to pick up pennies one at a time and see how many he can drop in a jar in a short amount of time. When will he return? He smiled at me and said, I'm going to be back as soon as I can.
That guy has dropped a lot of pennies in jars over the years.
And not in Trevi Fountain necessarily. On first down and 20, the catch is made. And to the 34-yard line goes Michael Thomas. The Saints, as you look at their schedule down the road here, they have Tampa Bay next week, at Jacksonville, at Chicago, and then Arizona before their bye. Their bye comes the first Sunday of November, and then after that Atlanta. So maybe he's back for the Arizona game, or maybe he just waits another couple of weeks and takes the bye and comes back against Atlanta. We'll see. Second and 13.
Basically saying 5-4 is the one the offensive line is responsible for.
Fired, caught. Deep throw. Michael Thomas makes the catch. Awuzie with the stop there. So Bridgewater, for his biggest passing gain of the night of 21 yards. Thomas has now caught 4 already.
Yeah, Thomas not the speedster, and yet when you get into these contested catches, back shoulders, you just have to stay right there and pay attention. I don't think you have to worry so much about Thomas just flying past you. And so let's see if Awuzie begins to make an adjustment and play in that back shoulder and daring on them to throw one over the top.
Bridgewater surveys, pump fake, look out. Takes off, still pump faking and taken down. So that secondary obviously doing its work. And he picks up a yard. As it turns out, it'll be second down and 9.
You know, Al, it is really interesting when we were talking with Sean Payton about this whole thing at the quarterback position. He said, we just got so used to Drew Brees doing everything for us. And, you know, after 13 years, this became that, and pretty soon he was running the whole show out there. So now we have to cycle all the way back, and Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill are working off the wristbands, and so he'll just call in, hey, let's run number 3. They make the call, just take a little of the pressure off of them.
And we got Kamara. No doubt doing everything, Chris. And not only that, but he never missed. I mean, he missed one game in all of his time here in New Orleans because of an injury. One since 06.
But you think about if you take Tom Brady out of that offense, what it does, how much of the show he runs, Peyton Manning at the line of scrimmage, what he used to do. So this is a very, very different offense at this point.
3rd and 7. Tie game early in the second quarter.
There he goes. Pass rushers 54 again.
Down to 2. Here comes the blitz. Look out. He's going to get spun down at the 25-yard line. Malik Collins was in there with some help from his friends.
Yeah, that's what happens sometimes. You pick out the right pass rusher, and that time it was Jalen Smith. The problem was Leighton Vander Esch blitz as well. So they got one-on-ones across the board here. Yes, he was going to blitz, but he got over here, which left one-on-one on the inside here for Collins to get through and get the sack.
Now a 42-yard attempt. Lutz early lead one from 40 to put the Saints on top. Morstead holding, and that kick is good. So he is 2 for 2. Saints take the lead 6-3 in the Dome. Unless Will Lutz sends it through the end zone, and he does. Take a look at this captain play action starring Dak Prescott. 24% play action, about 1 out of 4 earlier, and then this year a whole different story. 81% completion, 3rd in the league, 409 yards, 3rd in the league, touchdowns tied for 1st, and the rating tied for 4th in the league. Prescott has been terrific.
Well, and it makes sense, right? If you're going to pay Ezekiel Elliott all that money in this offensive line, you should use play action off the run.
And sooner or later, they'll have to pay number 4 a whole lot of cash. One-handed grab is made on the outside by Elliott for a short gain.
How about that catch? You know, that's been one of the real hidden assets of this Cowboys offense over the past few years. One of the things that everybody loved about Ezekiel Elliott coming out, they knew he could run, they knew he could block, but he also had some real receiving skills that really have not been exploited as much as you would have thought it might have been.
2nd down and 7. Elliott has already caught 3 balls tonight. Prescott's completed 6 passes. Only 1 of those to Cooper, 2 to Witten. And this is Elliott. Elliott, Chris talking about as a receiver last year, led the Cowboys in catches. Used them a lot out of the backfield. Not so much to this point this season. That could change.
Came in with only 5.
3rd and 4. Come up without a huddle at the 31-yard line. Halfway mark of the 2nd quarter.
There's that double-A looking blitz. Now they're going to audible. A week ago they went to speed option. I bet you they have a different alternative here.
Now the Saints back off defensively. Prescott throws over the middle, and Witten fumbles and loses it. A.J. Klein knocks it away. It's picked up by Von Bell, and the ball is still alive. And Von Bell, who ran one back for a touchdown last week on a fumble, gives them field position inside the 40-yard line. And that Saints defense ready for their close-up.
Terrific route, really, by Jason Witten, but Klein just stayed with this and caught him from behind and poked it out just as Witten was trying to set up a move by Von Bell. See whether or not he was down before he got up to run.
Well, that's reviewed automatically because it's a turnover, so they'll look at that part of the play as well. You open up the whole play when you look at it.
The on-field ruling is under review.
Bring in Terry McAuley quickly after we have this commercial break. We'll check it out.
After review, it was a catch and a fumble recovered by the defense. That player was touched. He is down by contact at the 47-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for New Orleans at that spot. Please set the game clock to 7:07.
So Witten was able to touch him, and that wipes out what would have been a 12-yard run back. How often does Witten fumble? About once every 2 years. 16 years in the league. That's his 9th fumble.
You and I fumble more than that at dinner.
Yes, we do, especially when that check comes. From the 47-yard line. Bridgewater, the play fake, look out from behind, gets it away. It's caught by Latavius Murray. Flag is down. Back at the 47-yard line. Saints already coming back, so.
Holding, number 67. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
On Larry Warford.
Well, Tron Armstead's one of the better speed blockers in the league, and he is having all kinds of issues with Robert Quinn on the outside. But it's not limited to that. It has been everybody on the inside as well. This Dallas defensive line is up in the bit. They substitute these guys so frequently. They're so fresh. Sometimes they just out-energy opponents.
Averaging close to 10 penalties a game through week 3, and now you've got a flag before.
Prior to the snap, timeout. Dallas, a 30-second timeout.
All right. Cowboys take their first. You know, we talked about Sean Lee before, but one of the reasons he won't play very much, being the veteran and injury prone, is the other two guys. It was Smith and Van Der Esch on the Dallas side.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. We're starting to see both of those guys a little bit more as pass rushers. Yes, we know the tackle numbers. They've been off the charts. Sean Payton said he thought this was the best tandem of linebackers in the National Football League right now. But what we're seeing now is more and more from Jalen Smith rushing the quarterback, and in this game, Leighton Van Der Esch as well. So you have great athletes going one-on-one oftentimes against guards in pass rushing situations. Tough to stop.
Smith told us last night, I'm a natural-born pass rusher. And here on a 1st and 20, Kerry Hyder is able to stop Kamara for no gain. 2nd down and 20 with 6.5 to go to the half.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that Kerry Hyder can do. He plays up and down the line of scrimmage. Here, you'll always see the Cowboys doing some kind of stunt. It just doesn't matter what they're doing. They are on the move. They are high energy. And sometimes as a running back, you come running through there and you go, oh, there's a hole. There's not a hole. And that's what happened with Hyder right there.
Taysom Hill is in the game. That's number 7 in the slot to the left. Bridgewater looks that way, comes back the other way, and it's caught up at the 41-yard line. So it was 2nd and 20. Kamara makes the catch. It's 3rd down and long. 3rd and let's call it 15.
Well, the Saints can't continue to beat themselves. There are often times that the penalties make it impossible. You can let Rod Marinelli and Chris Richard end up in these 3rd down and long situations. Really bad things happen. They already had one interception. This is one you don't want to give it back to Dallas at midfield.
3rd down and 15. Bridgewater fires. That'll be caught. But well short of the 1st down. He goes to the tight end, Josh Hill, there. And the Cowboys to get the ball back.
Yeah, maybe Drew Brees, you try to hit one of those seams, you try and do some different things. But I think that right now you're sitting there, the New Orleans Saints, you're up 6-3. You know what the Cowboys game was like last year. Low scoring. It's becoming a bit of a field position kind of game at this point, but they have to eliminate some of these early down penalties. It's killing them on 3rd down.
Final score last year 13-10. Dallas. Morstead to kick. You got Randall Cobb, the longtime Packer, who's back there. Line drive, wobbly kick. Cobb will bring it back from the 9. Back up to the 23-yard line. A mini scuffle ensues with 4.5 to go to the half. All right, this drive starts from the 22-yard line. Olawale in the game. He's the fullback. Sets up in front of Elliott, and Elliott goes the other way and is taken down after a short gain. Demario Davis is right there, the former New York Jet.
Yeah, good hustle out there by Malcolm Brown. He was with the Patriots, and watch him just fight through everything to make this tackle on the far side. Zach Martin just couldn't catch up to him, so he goes around the back door of that, throws his body in, and makes a great play.
2nd down and 9. Back under pressure, throws, and that's caught, and that's Blake Jarwin, the number 2 tight end. Marcus Davenport's the guy who got to Prescott as he released. It'll make it 3rd down and 1.
And these quarterbacks are under siege so far in this game. Just watch them working against Tyron Smith, obviously one of the absolute best. It's a big reason why they moved up in the draft a year ago to go get Marcus Davenport. 4.5 sacks last year.
Dennis Allen, Kellen Moore, the 2 coordinators.
Straight man coverage, opportunities here.
3rd, short 2. Prescott throws, caught, and that's enough for a 1st down. He goes to Randall Cobb. Eli Apple makes the tackle as the clock ticks down toward 3 minutes to the half. 1st down.
Yeah, nice play there by Randall Cobb. A little pick play. Pretty easy to read that time. It was man coverage, and they go right to the man beater immediately for the 1st down.
This time they send 3 receivers off to the left, then break that. Cooper sets up on the right side, one-on-one with Lattimore. And Prescott looks that way, throws as Cooper stopped. Nice move there, picks up the 1st down as he gets out to the 50-yard line. And a bunch of Dallas fans here tonight signaling Coop as the flag is down.
Number 19, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
Now that's how he got free illegally.
Let's take a look. There's been a lot more focus this season on this offensive pass interference. Top of the route. Call it anything you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, whatever. There was definitely hands on him, I'll say that. Did he push him? That's another matter.
1st and 20 from the 24-yard line. Ezekiel Elliott making it 2nd down and long. As the 2-minute warning will be upon us very shortly. For the moment, Dallas now going without a huddle. See if they run a play before the break. 2nd and 17.
Yeah, they should not. When you're backed up 2nd and 17, you want to milk some of that clock, and that's what they did.
They're just trying to draw them offside. They know. 2-minute warning. Back after this. 6-3 Saints. 2nd down and 17. Prescott slings it to the outside. Elliott. Nice little move there to gain some extra yardage. Von Bell and Eli Apple were there. The ball is up at the 36-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 8. Cowboys going no huddle here.
That's a really interesting call right there. I thought the Cowboys were flashing no huddle to try and milk some clock off of it, but Sean Payton was having none of it. He went ahead and called the timeout himself. You know, it really has been an interesting game so far from the standpoint that the penalties have just killed these 2 teams. There have been 9 drives. 6 of them have had a 10-yard penalty during the drive. And it's what we've seen. Neither of these teams are really built to pick up those 2nd and 20s. You know what I mean? They're both a little bit more run the ball, ball control. And the penalties have taken both teams out of their offense.
6 penalties for 60 yards against the Saints. 2 penalties for 25 against the Cowboys. Of course, they're always thrilled to hear those numbers in Louisiana. 3rd down and 8 from the 36. Four-man rush. Prescott throws. He's going to be caught, but a little short of the 1st down. That's jarring when he looks over to the sticks. He knows he's a little short. Ball we spotted at the 44-yard line. So for Jason Garrett, you're near midfield. 1:36. The clock is stopped here.
This is pretty big time right here. I think this is the right call to go for this. But boy, you miss it. You're almost putting 3 points on the board.
Well, the Saints took that timeout, so they have 1, but they're going to go for it. Indeed they are, and it's going to be close, but he's going to get it. Elliott, looked like the ball was ready to come out at one point. In fact, the Saints think it did. Got a little discussion going on here. They think the ball came out.
Ruling on a field is a fumble recovered by the defense. 1st down.
Whoa. There it is again. before New York takes a look at it. Elbow is down. That's Von Bell in there again.
But could you see the elbow down? It looked like it was down.
All right,
when you start running in the interior,
is under review.
It's just sometimes hard to get the shot, and whatever the call on the field is.
All right, we'll come back. Day review. We'll talk to Terry after this. As close as it gets, but the play, the ruling on the field stands. It is a fumble. It is a turnover. Terry, it's as close as it can get.
Absolutely, Al. This would have had to have been clear and obvious that he still had complete control when that elbow comes down. It wasn't. It looks like the ball is just starting to move, not enough to reverse it.
So it's a fumble on a 4th down. Elliott fumbles. Cowboys have now fumbled on their last 2 drives. And with a minute and a half, the Saints have 1 timeout and the ball at the Dallas 44-yard line. Just a 3-man rush, and the pass is caught here by Michael Thomas. It's going to be a gain of 9 yards. Van Der Esch makes the tackle. 2nd down and 1. And Thomas has now caught a total of 5 for 57 yards. Bridgewater hit as he throws, gets it away. Nice grab made by Ginn on a high throw. Quinn came in, knocked Bridgewater down as he released. 1st down, under a minute now.
Now in a passing situation, you get the defensive back Jordan Lewis in to guard Alvin Kamara one-on-one.
Kamara flares out to the left, pass comes to the right, and is that caught? No. Jared Cook, the tight end, former Green Bay Packer among other teams. 2nd down and 10. So Bridgewater wants to huddle up. Ooh.
Definitely caught it, but I don't think he got his hand down in time. But for the Cowboys, it's been a rough go. 2 of their better players, right? Ezekiel Elliott and Jason Witten, both with key plays, and both were fumbles.
2nd down and 10. Bridgewater 12 of 15 for 112 yards. Takes the low snap, swings it to the end zone, and nobody's home there. Getting the closest, Awuzie covering it with 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, and it has been, there's Dak Prescott over there. This one hasn't gone the way some of these other games have gone, but in part because of the way they've been putting pressure on him. Chris Richard, who in my opinion is going to be one of those sought-after guys to be a head coach in this league after this season. What a job he has done since taking over the signal calling there.
3rd and 10 with 39 seconds. Bridgewater fires, and again that is too high. Flag is down. Cook was the intended receiver.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 90, defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic. 1st down.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
This is really interesting here. Watch Ryan Ramczyk, the right tackle. There is some kind of action where he kind of gets pulled down to the ground by Ramczyk, like on the outside, and then kind of gets pulled down and goes right into Bridgewater. I know there's no excuse anymore for hitting quarterbacks low, but I'm not sure that was a conscious effort by DeMarcus Lawrence to go low.
Next year they'll make that reviewable.
No, they won't. No. They're not getting into any more than 10.
Pass fired, caught inside the 10-yard line. That's Ginn again. Under a half minute now. New Orleans conserving that last timeout. 2nd and 6.
But this is Teddy Bridgewater kind of football here. This is when he's at his best. He needs to get this going.
The clock running. It's down to 12 seconds. And he slings it over the middle. It is caught and taken to the 1-yard line by Kamara with 4 seconds. So now they'll take their final timeout. They don't have to, though, because you've got a flag on the other side of the field.
And offsides, it looked like, on the part of the Cowboys.
Offside, number 92, defense, a penalties declined. The result of the play is a First down.
Dorrance Armstrong. Okay, you're Sean Payton right now. You got one play. Field goal makes it 9-3. Touchdown, of course, probably 13-3. And for the moment, they're going to send out the offensive unit.
He does not go for it in these situations at an extraordinarily high rate. And yet you can tell he has some confidence in this offensive line and their power. But boy, there are going to be bodies flying around on this defensive line. I like the call, though. I would do this too.
Heavy formation. So either it's going to be 7 points or no points. First and goal. And the throw incomplete, but you still have time because it only took 2 seconds off the clock. 2. Well, you could still go for it here, but now he's going to send the field goal group out.
Well, he had it in his mind what he wanted to do, didn't he? Quick throw. I didn't even know you could run a play in 2 seconds.
Me neither.
I don't think Jason Garrett knew it
saying,
either.
what are you talking about? How can that only take 2 seconds? Impossible.
2003. That's, wow.
Terry, the clock stops where on that play?
When the ball touches something out of bounds.
Ooh, boy. It's interesting. That one works, I think, in the Saints' favor. Here comes Lutz for the field goal that is good on a 19-yard attempt. Let's go back with the clock. And again, as Terry just said, it stops when the ball hits something out of bounds. So you got the clock, 2-1. I guess it did. Yep. All right.
Yeah, no explosive plays in this game. There really has not been, and that's great news for the Saints on defense that has really had some problems giving up those big plays.
2 pass plays of 20 yards, both by the Saints. That's been it. The kick will bound through the end zone, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Sean Payton could only shake his head when I asked about the 6 penalties for 60 yards, and he said that is 3 weeks in a row now. So I said, well, what do you do to solve that? And he said, well, maybe taking players off the field if it keeps happening. Keep in mind, 5 of their 6 penalties were committed by the offensive line, so that may be a position to watch, Al.
You bet. Is Sean, well, he's, as we mentioned, he has his favorite referee calling the game tonight, Carl Jeffers, but so far they have a half dozen penalties, and Dallas has only 3.
Yeah, let's give a little credit to these pass rushers. They're creating some of those holding calls too.
3 guys setting up in the backfield here. A little play fake by Bridgewater, fires, and that pass is incomplete. Crowd wants a flag, don't get one. Lil Jordan Humphrey, the intended receiver.
Yeah, speaking of pass rushers, how about Robert Quinn? His second game, and this little rip move of his has been given all kinds of problems to Teron Armstead on the outside. He is able to maintain his speed as he dips and rips around the edge. And then just when you see Armstead start to set up outside, here he goes. Whoop, inside. Constant pressure on Bridgewater.
Bridgewater throws, and that's Thomas. Who else makes the catch? Jalen Smith makes the tackle. And that's good for a gain of 9 yards. Call it 8. 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, but let's be what you are, I guess, is what this is now when you're talking about Teddy Bridgewater. If you're going to throw it short, throw it to your best guy when you're talking about going short, and that's Michael Thomas. He's made some nice plays.
Mike 25,
Kamara's been held in check tonight. He's in the backfield, toss it to him. Around the corner he goes, and he's going to get stopped. Boy, they did a job on him last year in Dallas, and they're doing another job on him tonight. That's Leighton Vander Esch going step for step with him, and it's 4th down.
Eric McCoy is going to try to catch him. He just can't cut him off. Vander Esch a little too fast at this point. Great angle by McCoy. Just couldn't get there.
Meanwhile, you've got an injured Cowboy. There's a Cowboy who's down. That's Awuzie, the corner. Hopefully just a cramp. He extends the leg, but the reason for the timeout, and has to get escorted off the field. So the punt group will go in there with Tavon Austin back to receive. Thomas Morstead's been tremendous. What a week he had last week in Seattle and through the years. 11th year. Picked him in the draft back in '09 out of SMU. No stranger to the Pro Bowl. That Hill back there is the up back. You never know when you can get a fake. Not here. Beautiful punt deep. Look at this one. Bounds at the 10 with backspin. And Morstead does it again. Pins the Cowboys back at the 16-yard line. 9-3. Start with play action here. Prescott fires and it's caught. And speaking of Cooper, close to a first down. The Cowboys in the third quarter this season, Prescott has been perfect. And they have scored on all 3 opening drives in the third quarter. So he's 23 of 23. 3 touchdowns. That rating is perfect at 158.3. But whatever they're doing at halftime with the adjustments is working out splendidly. Second down and 1. Just shy of the 26-yard line. Give the ball to Zeke Elliott. He'll move the sticks. First down, Dallas.
Yeah, at some point in the game, you've got to think this big offensive line has to take over. They have been so dominant, and you know that Sean Payton's thinking the same thing, that they're going to try and get back to just playing some power football. So many Pro Bowlers up there with Tyron Smith and Frederick and Martin, and Lael Collins has been playing awesome this year.
Prescott swings it out to Elliott, and he gets taken down at the 30-yard line with the former New York Giant Eli Apple. Gain of 3. Second down and 7.
This tells you how much confidence they have in Lael Collins at this point, going against one of the very best in football in Cameron Jordan, and they're just letting him go one-on-one, sliding the line the other direction. And Collins did exactly what he's done all season, which is just getting away. He is, I don't know what kind of apple juice he took this year, but he has been something else.
Free agent signing, had trouble down at LSU off the field. That's why he became a free agent. Cowboys picked him up, playing great. Second down and 7, and that's caught by Cobb short of a first down. Randall Cobb gets the ball out to the 36-yard line.
You know, Randall Cobb's going to be one of those guys more and more and more for Kellen Moore, that when these big situations come up, just like when he was in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, that's the guy you can look for. Some of these third and shorts now, the slot receiver is just such a key guy.
3rd and 2. Prescott fires, and that's broken up. Tried to get it to Tony Pollard. A flag is down. If this one is against Dallas, it would be the first incompletion that Prescott has thrown in the third quarter this season.
Did he grab and turn him on the break? That was the only thing I could see.
Well, when the official holds his left wrist, that means he's going to point in that direction.
Pass interference, number 56, defense, automatic, first down.
Demario Davis.
Terry, what do you think? Did he hook him and turn him here?
Well, let's take a look at the replay, Chris. It looked like it live to me, I will tell you that. There it is. Hooks him around, significantly hinders in my mind.
Yeah, I'm going to agree.
Yep. Good angle there. Intended for the rookie running back, Tony Pollard. Haven't seen much of him tonight. Ball at the 40-yard line. Keep it on the ground. Chugging his way out to the 45 goes Ezekiel Elliott. Tackled by Cam Jordan, whose father will go into the Minnesota Ring of Honor later this season. The great Steve Jordan, tight end.
I tell you, Cam Jordan, when I watch him play, I think he weighs 260 pounds. He weighs 290 pounds, and he plays like a speed brush.
Number 1 pick back in 2011 out of Cal. 2nd and 7. Prescott fires quickly, and that's caught And that'll be a first down. Cooper makes the catch as they take the ball into Saints territory.
Yeah, and both teams so far, we're seeing the ball coming out of the hands much more quickly in this half than we did the first half. Take a look. Prescott, that back foot hits the ground. I don't care how good a pass rusher you are, you're not getting there in 2.04 seconds.
One of the adjustments they've made at halftime, the adjustments they've made all season long. Terrific. Prescott fires, and that will be taken in at the 35-yard line. Jams it in there to Jason Witten for a first down.
Yeah, and now they're going tempo here as well. So now they're going to the hurry-up offense, so those pass rushers will get worn down. And now you're starting to see the pass rushers starting to lean a little more on these offensive linemen instead of some of these slick moves.
4 catches for Witten tonight for 50 yards.
They're staying too deep back there, though, so run opportunities are available. Now, here they come down late.
Look out in the backfield, Malcolm Brown, former New England Patriot, 2 Super Bowl rings in his collection. Takes him down, no gain.
Boy, another good play by Malcolm Brown right there, right off the double team to come up and make that one. He was the guy double teamed on the play, and he comes right through it and makes a tackle.
Second and 12, loss of 2. Prescott fires off play action down the seam, and that is Blake Jarwin, the number 2 tight end, who makes the catch. Splits the defenders and sets up a first down and goal on their longest play of the night, 35 yards. And you've got an injured Saint. That's Marcus Davenport, who will stop play for the moment. He's down on the turf.
It's just so dangerous to let one of those tight ends run right down the middle of your defense. But again, another half step of protection that time because of the pace that they were running there.
Davenport down, back after this. Talked about Prescott because of that penalty before. That did not go as an incomplete pass. He's still perfect with 3 touchdowns, and he has a first down and goal here at the 2-yard line. Davenport went into the medical tent. Keep it on the ground. Trying to get in. It is Elliott. He cannot. Gets it to the 1-yard line. It'll be second down and goal.
This is just a much stouter defensive interior than what we've seen out of the Saints in the past. As Malcolm Brown has added a bunch. Rankins is in there now. Onyemata's had a good year. See if they just stick to the power or not. They bring the fullback in.
11th play of the drive. Olawale in at fullback, leading the way and putting his head down and getting across the goal line for a touchdown is Elliott. It is the first touchdown of the game, and the Dallas Cowboys have the lead as the ball goes to Collins for the spike.
Deservedly so, huh? It was this power play coming right around here with Connor Williams. Got just enough to get him in. That was a heck of a drive. That was a great halftime adjustment coming out, adding tempo, adding a little bit that the defense just couldn't stay as fresh as they had been. The pass rush slowed down, and they go down the field.
Balanced play calling, 5 rushes, 6 passes. It's 73 passing yards and only 6 yards on the ground, including the last 2. Maher for the extra point and the lead. And the Dallas Cowboys, with 7:47 remaining in the third, lead by a score of 10-9. Last night, Gleason Graw, part of the Saints Fantennial. Cam Jordan made an appearance there. The event raises awareness for ALS, supporting Team Gleason. There is Steve Gleason, the former Saint, who's been an inspiration to so many. Big play when that dome reopened after Katrina, and that is memorialized in bronze outside of the Superdome. A really unbelievably special man.
Yeah, we got a chance to visit with him a little bit on Friday, and you can't be down around him. He's the most upbeat positive person, and yet he has to communicate with that computer with his eyes tracking which letter he wants to put into a word.
Kick from Maher results in a touchback. Well, we do our Mount Rushmore, try to do it if we can once per game. So, partner, here are the guys we came up with. Ricky Jackson and Willie Roaf are both in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Drew Brees, slam dunk, 1,000,000%, as we might say. Sean Payton, I think, would also be a slam dunk. But, you know, partner, we always think about 5, 6, 7. There's maybe number 5.
If you think about the Saints, you do think of that a little bit.
The Aints.
Well,
some lean years here.
Sarge got a pretty good vote with us as well.
Now you got on first down. This is Kamara. Kind of on the end around it, set up in the wing. Second down. I mean, there's always going to be a lot of, you should have put this guy in or that guy in. But, you think about the history of this team, and it's only of recent vintage because there were so many years where the Saints they were the bottom feeders in the league, and then along came Brees and Payton.
Yeah, I think Brees is the best player in the history of the franchise. You just start right there.
Sure.
But I think Sean Payton's call to start the second half of the Super Bowl is one of the gutsiest, best calls I've ever seen in the history of the NFL. I put him up there for that alone.
Well, for the onside kick, and Saints wound up with their first Super Bowl title. 2nd and 1. Great tackle in the backfield there. That's Van Der Esch doing it again. Second year, he's the #1 draft choice out of Boise State.
I mean, what's happening here is Van Der Esch is as good as is Kamara. So it looks like Van Der Esch is going to run himself out of position. They come off the double team, and yet there he is. He has the same sort of elite quickness to jump over into the next gap and make that play. This is a gap control defense, and boy, they do not make mistakes with it.
3rd down and 1. Murray is the running back. Latavius Murray, and he should have it just barely. Xavier Woods came through, but he does indeed, as they looked at the sideline, reach the line to gain, as they say, and it's a first down to the 35-yard line.
Now that was
big. Just barely a first down, too.
Yeah, that was big. They needed to keep this football for a little while. And now they need some kind of a strike play. Here they come in with Deontay Harris, a guy that has only played a very limited number of offensive snaps, and yet we have seen him as a punt returner, how explosive he can be. Maybe they get the ball in his hands at some point here.
Oh, there he comes in motion. A little flea flicker. Bridgewater takes the toss back, throws caught. And it's Thomas making the catch. About a 7-yard pickup before he goes out of bounds. And 7 catches tonight for the great, and I mean the great, Michael Thomas.
I'm going to tell you, Michael Thomas is one really smart guy. Watch him come across the screen here from left to right, and he sees there's nothing deep. So he breaks back underneath everybody and just gives Teddy Bridgewater somewhere to throw the football. This is one of those big shot plays. You're trying to get something down the field. Not there. Adjust and make your quarterback look good.
2nd down and 2. Kamara. And he's got the first down. Takes the ball to midfield. Rolls to the first down at the 50-yard line with 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, it's the one area that Sean Payton did have some success running the ball the last time they came against the Dallas Cowboys. And that's with some of those little crackback actions out from the wide receivers and pulling their offensive line. So we're starting to see now stretching horizontally with the running game here.
Taysom Hill is in the game. Set him in the slot to the left. Bridgewater, good protection, throws into traffic. Jared Cook, the tight end, comes up with it. They're going to spot it just a little bit short of a first down. It's going to be 2nd down and inches.
And boy, the Saints desperately need a second receiver here to really pop up and start making some plays. Of course, you know about Michael Thomas, but Jared Cook is so athletic. If he could just begin to be a bit of a factor in this passing game, take some pressure off of Kamara, take some pressure off of Thomas.
Oh, here we go, ready. Ready, what's that?
And Latavius Murray picks up the yard necessary to move the chains to the 38-yard line.
Yeah, you have to be impressed with the young center, Eric McCoy. Watch the stunts going to come right across his face here, and he adjusts to it and is able to move him out of the hole on that one. That's the hardest play for those big offensive linemen, trying to adjust and change directions.
On the ground again. Kamara doing what he does so well, still not down. Now he is after a 12-yard gain. Breaking tackles along the way, flinging the ball back to the officials. First down for Kamara, that time a gain of 11.
I love watching this guy play. His balance is just so remarkable. He doesn't look powerful, but he is. He has those big, thick legs. And every time you think you've got him on the ground, you just don't. He pulls out of so many different blocks, but he doesn't just pull out. He has the ability to make something happen afterwards. Here's a guy that really was not that highly thought of, a third-round draft pick, and he has taken this league by storm.
5'10", and a solid 215. Through the middle again, Kamara, and he's taken down by Heath by the ankle. To Michelle we go.
Well, look at some of the balance workouts that Alvin Kamara has been doing for the last couple of years. They get more and more difficult all the time. His trainer keeps finding new ways to challenge him, and he told me he's stronger and faster as a result, and the balance can help him break tackles in certain instances. You know, Sean Lee agreed with that. He said sometimes you think you have an angle on the guy, and he bounces right off of you. So that balance is huge. He's still got one video he has not released. He says it's the toughest stuff he's ever done. Look for it, Al.
All right, Michelle. Kamara tonight, 53 yards on the ground now. And 13 more through the air. It's fired and caught. And just a little short of the first down goes Jared Cook on what was a 2nd and 6. And sets up a 3rd down and 1 now with a minute and a half to go in the 3rd.
Just feels like what this offense is going to have to be, right? Make a couple of key runs, maybe a couple of little pitches on the outside, short ball control. I just don't see this team without Drew Brees being one of those shot teams. You know, it's just not going to be. They don't have that pure speed threat. So they're going to have to put together these 10 and 12 play drives to win when Brees is out.
This is the 11th play. They've had 7 runs. And this is the quarterback sneak here, and Bridgewater will pick up the first down. Be the 5th first down on this drive.
If you knew that all that Teddy Bridgewater had been through with his knee, and the idea that he does not flinch at all on a quarterback sneak against the Dallas Cowboys, remarkable. When he was in the ambulance after he got hurt in practice, they asked him, don't worry, you know, how you doing, everything all right? He said, yeah. He said, you still have feeling in your foot? And he says, it's starting to go away. And he told the ambulance driver it's time to drive faster. He was in danger, and somehow he has come all the way back, playing very well.
That was as gruesome as you'll ever see as he throws, and it's going to be dropped at the 3-yard line. Leaping for it was Josh Hill. Had it, would have been a 1st and goal. Instead, 2nd down and 10 with 16 seconds to the end of the quarter.
I don't know what happened to Josh Hill here. He just never looked comfortable with that ball in the air. He had plenty of time to see it. Great play call off the play action fake, wide open. Penalties in the first half, and boy, you can't afford those kinds of mistakes here in the second.
We've had the ball for 7.5 minutes, half the quarter. 13th play of the drive coming here. Started back at their own 25. Flag is down. Give it to Ted Ginn. He'll go nowhere. Anthony Brown, number 30, comes up to make the stop. Saints indicating.
Offside, number 96, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
That is what they were indicating. Malik Collins, number 96, lines up offside.
Ouch.
Big
Yeah, it was, because now it gets them back on schedule, right? Now, 2nd and 10, you have to start reaching a little bit, and I think they're going to feel pretty good about where they are right now.
Wind the clock into 3:10-9 Dallas. Sunday Night Football back after these messages. Meanwhile, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoyer. Taysom Hill is in the game to take the direct snap on a 2nd down and 5. Play number 13 on this drive. Keeps it. Being chased by Smith. And out of bounds he goes. Anthony Brown takes him out right there. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Well, here's what's happening now when you have great athletes at the linebacker position. Yeah, you can crash down inside, and yet anytime you end up with an opportunity to read that outside guy, but Jalen Smith is going to loop back around to that side, and so you have speed against speed. Yes, Taysom Hill is 4'4". Jalen Smith pretty fast too.
Bridgewater back in on the 3rd down and 7. Kamara resets off his left shoulder. Bridgewater is going to take off with it and slide short. The ball comes out, and I think they're going to say he gave himself up, and so the play is over.
Where the slide starts.
Right, and a flag comes in at the end too. Jalen Smith made contact. Bridgewater was giving himself up. He was a little short. Then the flag comes in. And the officials now gather to discuss. So they're going to call a personal foul here.
The ball was on the 9, right, Terry?
It's the foremost point of the ball when another body part hits, which in this case is his knee. Right there, it does look like the 9.
If the runner gave himself up, it will be 4th down. There is no foul on the play.
Right.
4th down.
Terry, you'd agree with that. It looked like Jalen Smith was doing everything he could not to pounce on him.
Absolutely. There would only way it would be a foul would be forcible contact to the head neck area, and that just doesn't happen here.
It's remarkable. Those two guys, both of whom have had nerve damage in their knee, going 1-to-1 on the key play. Total control when that knee was down. Play's over.
So Will Lutz comes in. 3 out of 3 tonight. This is a chip shot here to give them the lead of 26 yards. Crowd upset they didn't get a flag, but pretty clear evidence there wasn't a flag on that play as Lutz bangs it through to give New Orleans the lead. 12-10 with 13:41 to go. (12-10) Saints. And I think every kickoff tonight, maybe -1, has resulted in a touchback.
Well, let's take a look at Dak Prescott, what he's been working on. He's been out with Tom House and John Beck, quarterback. And one of the drills that he wants to do is he wants to turn that back shoulder, keep the elbow tight, but watch his hips. Get the hips moving first so that arm comes straight up, and watch his left arm. It's going to stay tight. Talks about don't break that window pane behind you with your elbow. Keep it tight to your body and get that full rotation.
Prescott only 4 incomplete passes tonight. Start this drive on the ground as they normally do. They run a lot on 1st down. Of course, when you have Zeke Elliott, you can run a lot on 1st down with great success.
You probably should, but Dak Prescott on that last drive, 2.2 seconds to pass, 2.9 seconds in the 1st half. So the strategy pretty clear here. If we're going to throw it, get the ball out of your hands.
2nd down and 6. Cowboys trying to stay unbeaten. It's fired over the middle. There's contact, and the pass is incomplete, and there's no flag. Intended for Randall Cobb. Marcus Williams covering on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
That time it was a hot read on the part of Randall Cobb on the outside. You'll see him look back, but Dak doesn't throw it right away, so he continues on his route, so he never sees when the ball was released. 2 blitzers to that side made him hot.
So Jason Garrett wanting a flag. Prescott. Decibel level up at about 120. Play clock ticking down. It's 3rd down and 6 with an empty backfield. A little clap, clap, gets the snap, fires over the middle, knocked away. Flag. Intended for Devin Smith. Cowboys are moving up the field, indicating it's against the Saints. And that indication right there from Eli Apple
prior to the pass
says the same.
Holding, number 24, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Called on Von Bell.
Well, it wasn't on Von Bell. He never touched anybody.
No,
it was on Apple. Eli Apple in the middle of the field. Let's take a look. Harry, you calling that holding yet?
Chris, I didn't see a hold at all. I saw legal contact in the first 5 yards.
I'm so happy you're in the booth.
Ecstatic.
I used to just think I was crazy.
From the 34-yard line. Prescott throws low, and that is Tavon Austin, the one-time Ram. He was a first-round pick 7 years ago. Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5.
It's just so significant, Al. Once you get to the 2nd first down, the 3rd first down, you can see the difference in the pass rushers every time you pick up another first down. They just are not as fresh as they are in that first set of downs.
Give it to Austin again. Tavon Austin dancing and comes up a couple of yards short of the first down. Tackled there by Demario Davis. We're ticking down to 12 minutes. It'll be a 3rd and 2.
Nothing like having a great athlete on the outside. Marcus Davenport can run and is athletic as anybody playing that position. And that time ran down and cut off Tavon Austin to make that play.
3-man bunch. Off to the left. They break that now with Cobb going to the right side in the slot. On a 3rd and 2. Prescott looked toward Elliott and he throws incomplete for Randall Cobb. So it's 4th down. A little bit behind him.
It was, but Randall Cobb will be the first one to tell you that he should have had that one. Right there, you could almost see him turn his head as if to say, all right, where am I going to run with this thing? Could have been a better throw, could have been a better catch, and the Cowboys are going to have to punt it.
Chris Jones in his 8th year in Dallas, sending it down toward the very dangerous Deontay Harris. Left-footed Jones. Skies one that bounces inside the 9. Takes a good bounce for the Saints, who'll get the ball at the 20. They lead 12-10. Party time. Every time.
Every day.
In this city. All day, every day.
That's what Travis Frederick told us, right? It's just friendly noise. It's party noise. Here's Teddy Bridgewater. We talked about it at the start of the game. 16 for 19 inside of 10 yards, 2 for 4, and then 0 for 2, 20 yards or more. So you can fight it or you can play it. And I think that's what we're seeing out of the Saints right now. Let's take his strength. Let's play to it. Let's try and win 3 of the 6 games when Drew Brees is out. And let him come back and try and win a championship. Wouldn't be bad to come up with wins against Seattle and Dallas in his first 2 starts.
And then as Brees looks on from the sideline, we'll start this drive with Kamara spinning. Flag is thrown. Taken down after a 1-yard gain against the Saints.
Holding, number 75, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Andrews Pete.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to see when you start grabbing the jerseys. We talk about it all the time. When they grab the jersey and then the play bounces the other way, it's really easy to see. But now you're at that key point in the game right here. The Saints defense has been playing great. But another first down penalty, and now you're taking Teddy Bridgewater out of his style of play at this point.
Making it first down and 20. Dumps it off to Kamara. It'll be a 6-yard pickup.
One of the really fun things to watch with the Dallas Cowboys, they're playing, they're so athletic linebackers, and Jalen Smith in space. Aren't many people can make plays like that. He can run down players. He's good in the pass game, makes big hits. And his running mate, Van Der Esch, sniffs this one out when it looked like something might develop. Foot race to the edge, and he's there first. It has just been the way it's gone in both games in which these two teams have played. The athleticism at the linebacker position for the Cowboys makes a huge difference.
Bridgewater on 2nd and 13, hits Michael Thomas, and he gets tackled at the 26. Talking about Van Der Esch, he's the guy, we told the story last year a couple of times. Went to a high school or a school in Idaho with 11 students. 11.
Yeah, and he was the best player. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yes, I did.
I think his family still travels around in that big bus or whatever they got. Boy, it's a big play right here.
3rd down and 4.
When you're 1st and 20, Teddy Bridgewater has to hit 3 straight passes. He has 2 in a row.
And surveys good protection. Goes to his main man, Michael Thomas. But a penalty is down at the 41-yard line. Cowboys are clapping, so that means it's against the Saints. And indeed it is. So that would have been a first down. That was a gain of 13.
Well, there was a cross pick going on in the middle of the field. I got to be honest with you, though, they did not pick the guy that was defending Thomas. They made Jones run around, but they didn't really pick him.
There's no foul for offensive pass interference on the play. First down.
Good call. Good no call. Good whatever that was. That's absolutely right. Thomas is going to come in from your right over here and watch the mesh right over the ball. Is there any kind of a pick? There is not. Now, they did get run into the linebacker going the other way, but not on Thomas and not on Jones.
Very quickly, Terry McCauley, you could see Jeffers put his hand to his ear as if to listen to something or somebody. Who would that be?
They're really probably talking amongst themselves, the Odo communication amongst the officials on the field, and they're just getting everybody's input on that play.
Exactly.
And came up with the exact right answer, as Chris said.
Just wanted to make sure that you could present that to the audience instead of thinking that he's talking to New York or Mars or someplace.
Correct.
Gain of 5 there, 2nd down and 5.
Boy, that was some pickup on the part of Bridgewater. He knew with his style of play he was going to have to complete 3 in a row, and they did. Good play calling, good execution.
There's Murray on the last carry. Stays in there. Fakes it to Ginn. And down at the 42-yard line, DeMarcus Lawrence is there.
They went a little tricky on this one. They're going to try and go all the way across the field and wheel up here after this bootleg to the right, but the Cowboys saw it all the way and did not fall for it.
3rd down, 6 now. Almost halfway through the 4th quarter.
But Kamara stacked off to the right.
And Bridgewater's going to take a timeout before an important 3rd down and 6. 12-10 Saints. Updating the standings, the Cowboys trying to stay unbeaten. Philly won in Green Bay the other night. Giants win today. Washington 0-4. In the South, you've got the Saints on top for the moment. Carolina with a big win today. Tampa Bay shocking the Rams in LA, and Atlanta goes to 1-3 after their loss today. Bridgewater took a hit, and I think that's part of the reason he called the timeout. In addition to a big 3rd and 6 call here, he needed a little time to regather himself. Took it, he got the timeout, and now here we go on a 3rd down and 6. Look out. From the backside, Robert Quinn. Boy, are they happy to have him. All those years with the Rams, then to Miami and get him in a trade. Huge sack, 10 yards.
I don't know what happened to Teron Smith here, but he's slow. You've got the back. Murray had to step up and pick up Jalen Smith, and you could tell Armstead just never heard the snap count.
So it makes it a 4th and 16, and Morstead comes in to try to pin him as deep as he can. Flag is down, and that's Austin making the catch. Dangerous, and out of bounds right there at the 20-yard line. Flag down at the 35. You got a hold against the Cowboys is the initial indication.
Before or after the kick?
Yes, is the question. Gigantic in that regard.
During the kick, holding number 38 receiving team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
All right, that's on Heath. Dallas has the ball. New Orleans has a 2-point lead. Back we come to the Dome. Crowd roaring on 1st down. The pass is thrown, and it's caught by Amari Cooper. About a 6 or 7 yard gain before Lattimore makes the tackle.
It's interesting. Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, his dad was a great high school football coach, and his favorite phrase was setback, comeback. It doesn't always work perfectly. When it's going wrong, what are you going to do? What's your adjustment? It's time for one right now.
Elliott's carried the ball 6 times in this half for 10 yards. Here he goes, and they stuff him again. It's 7 now for 10 yards for the 2-time rushing champ. Klein and Brown in on the tackle. 3rd down and 2. 6 minutes left in regulation.
Well, ordinarily with this Cowboys offensive line, you say this is probably a run situation, but David Onyemata and company just getting too much penetration right now. They're able to stay with that 4-man defensive line and not blitz, and that's helping them in coverage.
Empty set here, and Prescott under pressure. Buys time, fires, and that will be incomplete. Cooper broken up by Lattimore, having some night, and it's a quick 3 and out, and New Orleans figures to get the ball in fairly decent field position with 5.5 left.
Boy, they have just done a job tonight. You really have to give Marshawn Lattimore some credit in this game. That was good protection. He had plenty of time to move around, and Lattimore just has not let go of Amari Cooper, who's tied for the league lead with 4 touchdowns coming into this thing, and he has been a non-factor. That was the Marshawn Lattimore we saw his rookie year.
Cooper 4 catches to 34 yards. That's it tonight. Jones. Fair catch call for it. 38-yard line by Harris. Saints go back to work with 5:22 left. Drive begins with 38 with the pass caught by Ted Ginn. About a 7-yard pickup, and that'll make it 2nd down and 3.
And now it is time. Chris Richard's defense has done just a fabulous job. This run and hit style of defense with Rod Marinelli and Chris Richard. Started back with Tony Dungy when Pete Carroll from USC used to come to Tampa and learn it down there. Now it's spread to probably 5 teams in the NFL. They need to run and hit now.
Kamara comes up about a yard shy. Now all 3rd downs become critical, especially in a situation like this where you're trying to not only pick up the 1st downs but milk that clock as much as you can. So it's 3rd down and 1 right here.
The dream scenario is for this offense, you don't do anything. You don't kick a field goal. You don't score a touchdown. You take a knee at the end of the game, and you still have control of the ball. The Dallas Cowboys never get the ball back.
So 3rd and 1.
Oh, here we go. Ready. Ready. What's up?
Toss it to Kamara. He'll get it. And all the way, bowling his way to the 44 and a first down. Behind Hill and Armstead, a 9-yard gain.
No doubt. Armstead right here is going to have to block in the open field. Jalen Smith, one of the best athletes for this play to work, and he gets it done. That is great athleticism on the part of a tackle. A huge play by Armstead.
Hey, 5-4. Oh, ready.
We got a half to go. Murray. He takes it. Big hole. Exploits it to the 39-yard line. 2nd down and 5.
One of the big goals for an offensive lineman is to take their block beyond the responsible gap. In this case, Christian Covington has that gap between the center and the guard, and yet he's able to move him 2 gaps down, and by doing that, created that running lane.
2nd and 5. Under 3 minutes now.
Hey, spot 5-4. Go, here we go. Ready. Ready. What's up?
Look that play clock down. And now you're going to have another 3rd down and 1. Kamara takes the ball to the 35-yard line.
I don't think there's a chance that Sean Payton does anything but go for it twice if needed here. Possession is everything at this point.
Looks up at that clock, and they're going to have to, because there's a 2-second differential, run a play before the 2-minute warning. 3rd and 1.
Bridgewater picked up one with a sneak. Do they go back?
Up with a heavy formation. Given instead to Kamara, and he'll pick up that first down. And that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. So thus far, exactly what they wanted to do on this drive. 2-minute warning. The 2-minute warning. Dallas has all of its timeouts. And here's Kamara. They should take one right here, you would assume, at the 34-yard line. Smith makes the tackle. That only took 4 seconds. It'll be 2nd down and 11. So coming into this week, including the Thursday night game, there were 8 undefeated teams. Now there are 4. And if the Saints hold on, there will be 3. KC had all they could handle today. They remain undefeated. The Patriots had all they could handle today. They stay undefeated. San Francisco, meanwhile, was home watching television all day long. 49ers had a bye, so they're 3-0. And we'll see about the Cowboys.
Boy, it really sets up for an interesting decision if they don't pick up this first down. If they don't pick up many more yards, about kicking a long field goal here. And obviously they have great confidence in Will Lutz. I'd be stunned if they didn't try and do it. Man, do they want this first down right now.
Hey, Mike, 5-5, go, ready.
Man coverage outside if you feel confident.
2nd and 11. A fake to Kamara. And a dump off to the fullback here, and he's going to get taken down. Zach Line at the 31-yard line, and now another timeout taken by Dallas. So 2 plays have consumed 10 seconds, and you've got an injured Cowboy, Xavier Woods,
who's coming off that ankle injury.
Right, he's had all kinds of trouble anyway coming in.
Van Der Esch was limping around after that play. Marcus Lawrence limped off the play before.
All right, so you, Sean Payton, you're as good a play caller as there is in the NFL, and it's 3rd down and 8. Meanwhile, if you don't gain a yard here, you'd be looking at Lutz coming in for what would be about a 48-yard field goal attempt.
You want that last time out to come off the board here, but boy, if you've got something special, I mean, Everybody on the Dallas defense right now is screaming Kamara's name. Watch the screen, watch the draw, watch 41. That's exactly what they're doing. You've got a high percentage pass, maybe, but can't imagine Kamara not involved here.
Kamara flanking Bridgewater. 3 receivers set to the left. Bridgewater, that straight drop, being chased, look out, under pressure, and sacked back at the 50. Jalen Smith, and now they've taken them out of field goal range. So for Dallas, that was the perfect defensive stand here. It's going to be 4th down. Dallas takes its final timeout. They've got a ton of time, 4th and 24.
The only thing Teddy Bridgewater could not do is take a sack. Watch Jalen Smith come all the way around because he has so much time to get there. He's able to get it. That ball has to come out. Initially, though, it was the pressure up the middle by Kerry Hyder that made that play. That immediate pressure just forced Bridgewater to bail out, and then Smith was there to clean it up. What a defensive play. What a time for that defensive play on the part of Chris Richard and Rod Marinelli's bunch, and Bridgewater is beside himself. He knew he could not take a sack there.
From 3rd and 8 to 4th and 24. Morstead comes into punt. Randall Cobb sets up inside the 10-yard line. Well, Dallas has no timeouts, but they're in a position where they're only going to need 3 to take the lead. Drops the nose down on the football, and a fair catch is called for at the 13-yard line with 1 minute and 39 seconds left in the 4th quarter. So Prescott 14 game-winning drives in the 4th quarter or overtime. Tied for the most with Drew Brees since his first season, 2016. So the crowd now will try all it can do to jam the signals as this drive starts back at the 13.
Wow, they are in an all-out blitz look. Let's see if they stay with it or back off. They don't have a safety in the middle. They back out.
Back out, 4-man rush, and Prescott's going to get sacked. Onyemata comes in and sacks him, and that is the first sack of him tonight, and Smith is hurt. And that's huge. Tyron Smith, the left tackle, is hurt, and he'll have to come off. And they're going to run 10 seconds off on top of it.
Wow. I'm going to tell you, that was a brilliant.
An injury inside of 2 minutes.
That was a brilliant defensive call. All these guys ended up in man coverage, so that meant Connor Williams, who is the least of their guys up there, was forced into a one-on-one situation against David Onyemata, who made the play. He has been making huge plays all year, and there you see Tyron Smith go down at the end of the play.
Last year in the game between these 2 teams, Prescott got sacked 7 times. They still won the game. Tonight, that's the first sack of him tonight. Smith comes hobbling off. It's an 11-yard loss on the sack. Cameron Fleming comes in. There he is, number 75, to take his spot.
And now you need Marcus Davenport. You drafted, you moved up for him. He has to go get Cameron Fleming right here.
Prescott over the middle to buy some space. And Elliott takes it out to the 12-yard line. Tackled there by A.J. Klein. Clock running down to 60 seconds. It'll be 3rd down and 12 after a gain of 9. And clearly they're in a 4-down situation despite being at the 12 as Prescott gets hit from behind, throws, and that is caught by Amari Cooper. Great catch, scoops it before it gets to the ground. Davenport put the heat on. Clock running down to 38-37 and going down the ball at the 26-yard line. And now
the on-field ruling of a catch is under review.
Yeah, it gets stopped by New York to take a look at that catch and whether or not he indeed made it legal. Here it is again. Take a peek.
I don't think you can overturn it from that one.
Not from that angle.
Terry,
come on in
lay
here.
in here, baby.
So far, this is going to stand.
Oh, no question.
He does not clearly lose the ball, and it hits control and hits the ground.
Right.
So.
I tell you, that was some play by Dak. I don't know how he felt that backside pressure from Marcus Davenport, but he took 2 steps to the right, which saved his life and saved that play. Here he comes. A couple of steps. He knew he was in trouble with his backup left tackle, Cameron Fleming.
Well, the Cowboys are already lined up to run the play, but they can't yet. Get away from the call from Jeffries.
The ruling on the field stands. First down.
Okay, so they get 14 on a 3rd down and 12. 34 seconds. It's ready to wind the clock here. 26 on the play clock. 34 on the game clock. And Prescott steps up and then gets hit as he throws, and that's going to be a forward pass and incomplete.
They have not blown a whistle, have they?
Yeah, I mean, the officials were looking at each other. What are they going to call this? For right now, they're conferring. You've had no stoppage of play. The Saints think they have a touchdown.
I thought his arm was coming forward, but I'll have to see this one.
All right. Here it comes. Yeah, I mean, the whole question now is it a backward pass? It's clearly not. I mean, 2 yards in front of the line of scrimmage.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
2nd down.
Yeah,
that's the right call.
That's the call. Right, was not contacted under pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the official putting his palms up.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking around. What do we do? We'll call New York. 2nd and 10. From the 26.
Just a 3-man rush here.
Prescott. Deep down the left side and incomplete. And there's a flag. Amari Cooper was looking for it, but I think they're going to call this offense. The indication is it's going to be on Cooper, and it is.
Pass interference, number 19, offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Second offensive call on him tonight.
Lattimore's been big all night. It's a little physical down the field. A little shove knocked him off balance. Looks like the right call.
So that moves the ball to the 16. 2nd down and 20 now.
Bigger issue is that 25 seconds on the clock.
Prescott looking to air it out. Deep downfield into traffic. You've got 4 white shirts and 1 blue shirt. Amari Cooper. 3rd and 20.
I'm going to tell you, though, I love that call. Because with only 17 seconds on the clock, you had to have something to get you in field goal range and still run up and spike the football. It's the right call, and they at least had a chance.
Still need the same call here.
You absolutely do. I think this is Hail Mary time, as close to the boundary as you can get it. And at the very least, you've got to fly after this play to get up there and get this thing clocked.
You've heard of man-to-man, you've heard of double coverage, you've heard of triple coverage. That's the first time I've ever seen quadruple coverage. 3rd and 20, they fire, and it is caught. They got to get up to the 48, they got to spike it. Randall Cobb caught it, they got to spike it, and then try another Hail Mary. It's 3-2, they do get it down in time. So now you're not going to be kicking a 70-yard field goal. You got 1 more Hail Mary opportunity here.
Well, last year, Maher had a 62-yarder.
Well, what they're really dying for is a pass interference call.
Yeah, because then you get another snap. You're right.
32 yards on a 3rd down and 20. So barring a defensive foul, this is going to do it. And they get a timeout.
2nd charge, timeout.
Saints.
New Orleans.
You know, that's a heck of a throw from there. Even. I mean, that's going to be a long way. Probably. It's a long way to get that thing down there, so it's going to take a long time. I think Dak Prescott, if he wants to throw a Hail Mary, is going to have to buy some time. Remember the old Doug Flutie play where he scrambles around and reverses fields to set up and give your wide receivers time to get down in the end zone.
Last win, as you saw, for the Saints without a touchdown 21 years ago. This would be their first game in the Peyton Breeze era in which they've not scored a touchdown. 4 field goals. Saints have a couple of guys standing on the goal line. Prescott, one last prayer. Not answered. Marcus Williams with the pick. And the New Orleans Saints, and Breeze is one of the first guys out there, come away with an upset win over the previously undefeated Dallas Cowboys.
What a great defensive call to end this game. They come with a slot blitz so that Dak Prescott simply could not sit back there and hold the ball. He had to throw it before his receivers had any chance whatsoever to get into the end zone. Great call that time by Dennis Allen.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, a rookie, with that corner blitz.
Here we go, right off the edge. And watch the shot here that Prescott's going to take. Wide open, bang. No way he could hold on to it long enough to get that in the end zone. And really a great job by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson of not getting a penalty on that hit.
And a great job by that Saint defense. Dennis Allen has taken some heat through the years here, but tonight that defense did it.